Hey, what's up, everybody? So I want to speak on Kyle Rittenhouse. That's the 17-year-old young man who shot several protesters, killing one of them. I don't know the names of the protesters. I am sorry, including the deceased. But my condolences are sent out to anyone affected, including the family of the individual who lost his life, who happened to be white. If that matters to anybody, to me, it doesn't hold much weight. I don't care. It's about mindsets, not skin color. And I think that the skin color is highlighted because it's been emphasized in the mistreatment imbalance. And that's the only reason why black is highlighted, in my opinion. Uh, that's the only reason why I highlight it. But yeah, Mr. Rittenhouse decided that it was a good idea to take his AR-15 out to the protest rallies as a deterrent to protests, and in his mind and in the minds of a lot of people who support his actions, to protect businesses. Protecting businesses from individuals who are trying to protect lives, or rather seek justice for lives that have been taken, or for specifically a life that has been permanently altered by 7 shots to the back of his body, rendering him paralyzed. That man's name is Jacob Blake. And that's why Mr. Rittenhouse was outside shooting at people, because he wanted to kill anybody who would dare stand up against the attempted murder and permanent paralyzing of Jacob Blake. That's his purpose in life. Rittenhouse's purpose in life is to assure that nobody stands up for that man that was shot in the back. I wanted that to be so clear in my video so that when this is watched 50, 60, 70 years from now, you see exactly how barbaric the mindset of these current individuals are today, who oppose knowledgeably. Some of them are very knowledgeable. Not all of them are ignorant. Who oppose what's going on right here. And I always say to people, if you do what you're supposed to do, you won't have to hear any complaints. You won't have to hear my mouth. Same thing goes with the NBA situation, when people are upset about people kneeling in the NFL, all these different various protests. There's only one thing that can stop this. Not you telling us to shut up, not you trying to show us evidence of why people are deserving of whatever came their way. That's not going to silence anybody. It's just going to piss us off. None of us believe that the conversation should be about who deserves what. The conversation should be about the treatment that we don't want anyone to receive. And I keep saying that. You telling me what random black dude deserved and why his murder, his mistreatment is justified, only speaks to the lack of humanity that you hold and the lack of support that you're willing to show others. That's all that tells me. That you don't have it in you to be objective as it pertains to the matters of this magnitude. And it's sad because it's so easy for people to apply humanity to different groups that they appreciate. But they can't apply humanity to those that they oppose. But they can't seem to tell you why they oppose them. All they can do is display that they oppose them. And then when you tell them what it is that you think they're doing and why they're doing it, they get offended. They get offended for you calling out the programming of their minds to silence others and ultimately be compliant with crimes and compliant with mistreatment and humanitarian atrocities. Compliant. In support of. In defense of. So when this video is seen however many years down the road, when times have changed, hopefully they have, let this be a reference piece to how 2020 was and what we were dealing with as African Americans, just simply because of our skin color. Not necessarily because of anything else that's been going on for years and years and years and years and years, but it really does just simply come down to skin. People don't just hate you because of your skin, they fear you. And because they fear you, they look at you as an enemy. And because they look at you as an enemy, any means that are used to subdue you are justifiable to them. They lack self-awareness in the sense that they can't see that they are, in fact, the villains that they hate and fear. That 9 out of 10 of the things that we do is in direct reaction to the actions that have been shown against us by their people and their system that they benefit from. That is directly set up so that we cannot benefit in the way that they do. They deny that, ignore our cries for support, justice, equality, and all those things. They ignore all of that. They ignore their cousins who stand by and say, yo, I'm side with those African Americans. I side with those people of color. I don't like this either. They ignore those people. They shun them. They treat them like they treat us because they look at them as people who betray their American ideals that have always been inhumane, that have always been set up for only white people to succeed, and have always been set up so that it gives off the guise that other people can succeed. So what we're finding is it's more complicated than that, but at its lowest common denominator, it really does come down to a few things, and those things always come down to fear and hatred, and the culture. And I always try to express this: it's a culture of racism. So even if you don't necessarily have racist thoughts and racist feelings, you have racist habits and racist ideals that you are complicit with, that you either are not aware are racist ideals or are too afraid to change. And that is why it's so easy to mention words like white supremacy, because it really is about the culture of such, not necessarily about the skin color, because there are Mexican people who practice that, there are white people who practice that, there are black people who practice that. There are many, many people who are complicit in the spirit of white supremacy. And they don't have to be black. They don't even have to benefit from it. They just have their ideas and they're set in their ways. And sometimes it's because of fear of change. Other times it's just because of a desire to see what it is that they're seeing now. Or some it's just about hoping that they can get back to where the world was the way that it was. But as we know, the world that they knew it to be is not the same world that a lot of the people in this country are living in. Two different Americas. And the America that these people live in is America where everything is comfortable for them and therefore they are happy. Their enemy, the blacks, are in dirty places doing dirty things, mucking around in dirty ways with ignorance and it's just a lot of violence, and we don't want to go over there because they're dirty, they're nasty, they're angry, and we fear them, right? We have no responsibility to them. They have responsibilities to themselves. They should take what they should take. We don't see through their eyes. We don't live in their circumstances. So therefore, we don't care whether or not they get the justice they're looking for. In fact, we want them to shut up about this damn justice so we can go back to watching what we like to watch and being who we like to be and being comfortable away from them. And then when we get information about them, we shake our heads. They kill each other. Yuck. They want welfare. Yuck. They don't want to lace up their bootstraps and represent the flag. They just want to complain about everything. Yuck. It's a lot of yuck. But within any of those yucks, is there a little curiosity to whether or not what you believe is actually true? Or are you just comfortable in the idea that people around you agree with you? Because guess what? You're wrong. You're wrong about those people. You're wrong about me. You're wrong about people who look like me, who may not agree with me. You're wrong about all of us. And what you're wrong about as well is who you are in the process of all of that. So your culture has allowed you to lie to yourselves about who you are and about what your responsibility is as people who have supreme power. Now see, that is a conversation that is not being had. What your responsibility is as the majority. Your responsibility is to stand up for those who have less. Isn't that what you're teaching your kids? Isn't that the ideals that you have amongst yourselves, you know? Being good, being decent, being of manners and things of that nature. Yeah, manners and sophistication and displaying of one's best self. Yeah, you can't do that and be racist at the same time. You can't do that and be complacent with white supremacy at the same time. It betrays its very own decency by applying humanity only to certain groups that you agree with, and looking at things as if they're dirty, nasty, and to be feared, as things that should not be given any support, help, or humanity. You look at us as great big monsters with superhuman strength and a desire and a hunger to destroy you. So therefore, if we get shot in the back 7 times, if we happen to be holding a knife, it's justifiable. But if we shoot one of you in the back 7 times, is that justifiable if you're holding a knife? No, it's not. No, it's not. In your eyes, I'm not talking about in mine. Forget what I'm thinking. I'm talking about you. Your very own people. If someone shoots one of your very own in the back, is that cool? It's justified because he was holding a knife? No, it's not. It's not. It's not justifiable when you do it to anybody. Not a monster, not a child, not anybody. It should never be done. And that is the point. Stop wasting all of our time trying to justify who is receiving bad treatment. Bad treatment should be fought at every turn. Then, once we have a control, a true handle on what bad treatment actually is, then we can apply what to who and give to whom what deserves what. Who deserves what, rather. But sitting up here trying to say, well, he's black, so yeah, shooting him in the back is pretty cool because he was going for a knife. Or yeah, he's black, so he had a gun in his hand, so I think it's pretty okay to shoot him 45 times. Well, he was reaching for something. Had he been complicit with the police, he wouldn't be in the situation. That is racist. You are spewing hatred, whether you know it or not. You didn't say the N-word. You didn't say he should be enslaved, but you did say it was fine for him to be shot because he was black. You didn't say it was fine for him to be shot because he had this, and this. That's what came out of your mouth, but that's not what you were saying. What you're saying is, it's okay for him to be shot because he was black and had this, and this. And it's sad. It's really, really sad that after all this time of being on this planet, you still can't look at black people, as humans. After all this time, you haven't evolved into your space of mind where you can say, yeah, they're black, and yeah, they may be strong, and yeah, they may have this, that, and the third, but they're still human. Yeah, they may have lived in some horrible situations, they may have been in some raw neighborhoods, but that's only because our system forced them into those neighborhoods. And anytime they tried to have anything of their own, we took it from them. Literally took it from them. Look up Black Wall Street in Tulsa if you want to know proof of this. Look up red lighting if you want to know proof of this. The scales have never been balanced. That's why we talk. I'm not talking because I like hearing this stuff. I don't like being involved in this type of energy. This is bad energy. This makes you feel bad to talk about. I, myself, I'm not having any fun speaking on this. We don't get any fruit from this. That's what I want people to understand. If you're on the other side of this thing, make no mistake about it. Nobody's having any fun over here. We would much rather not be talking about any of this. I think a lot of people are confused about the idea of what a black man wants while all this is happening. I don't want any extra attention. Get all the attention in the world. I don't want special treatment. I want to stop being especially treated poorly. Being treated especially poorly. And no, it may not apply to my physical being. My body's not being destroyed at this point. I'm not in slavery. But I have something called empathy. Something called a humanity. Something called a conscience. It tells me it doesn't have to affect me or my family for it to be a problem and worth my attention. And that's where we want you to evolve to if you're not already there. Stop saying it doesn't affect me and mine and they're black and they live in raw situations, they're nasty and we're afraid of them so they deserve to be treated poorly. Stop looking at this as something that has something so scary that you have to use inhumane tactics to subdue us. That's a fallacy. It's not true. We're humans of different shapes and sizes, just like your people too. Some of us do have superior genetics. I get it. Maybe a little difficult to tackle a LeBron James or somebody like that. I get that. I truly do. But that doesn't mean that he deserves 40 shots to be stopped. You just got to find a more humane way of doing it. And stop being so damn afraid to do so. It's your responsibility as the majority, as the supreme. to hold yourselves in an example that isn't evil, that doesn't look terrible 70 years from now when I'm explaining it to people. You look bad, white America. And it's your fault, white America. Get it together, white America. PDF.